Hey, welcome back to RC3D. My name's Ryan. Now I'm wearing a hoodie in this video because the temperature has just dropped and it's freezing. In today's video, it's not so much a build because I've already built it, but I'll explain on what I did with the files to 3D print this. So I've got this guy here. This is Ghostface, obviously from Scream. He's yellow because this is pretty much the only filler primer that I use. This video is not sponsored or anything by the brand, it's just the only one that I use because I think it's great. It goes on nice and thick and you just end up with a fairly smooth finish. Right, so this is the model that I'm going to be painting up. I found this on Etsy. Once you've purchased it, it's cheap as chips. Once you've purchased it, you download the .text file that you get. So once you've downloaded your files, you'll have a folder that looks something like this. Well, not all these. All these here are ones that I've cut up. There's around 25 files there. You'll download these files here. These ones here are what I cut up. I'll show you why I did that. So if I open this in 3D Builder, you get this program with Windows, I think 10, 11. So look at this model. Now you can imagine that this is really hard to print on a filament printer at least. Like, it's just so awkward. You're gonna need a million supports. It's crazy. Cura, right, I'll show you it in Cura. Right, there we go. So open it up in Cura and you've kind of got something like this. Now, how do you orientate a model like that? I mean, if I just printed it like that, it's going to need a lot of supports. It's going to need loads. And that's going to ruin a lot of the outside wall of the model. Now, you could try and rotate it, take snapping off, try and rotate it the best you can. Something like this. But you see, you could lay it flat as well with the lay flat setting there. Okay, so it's laying flat, but you can see now instead of just ruining one side of the model with supports, you're going to end up with it kind of leaching onto the front as well. So what I did was get rid of this a little bit, put it there just so I can show you how this works. So if I open up the file again, that was fabric number 3. So if I go up here, fabric number 3, I split this up. So there's fabric number 3, there's that piece, and then there's that piece. I split it in half because then I've got flat surfaces to work with. Still going to need a fair few supports, but half these supports you're not even going to really need. Something like here, you're not going to need supports for that wall. So I kind of block them out. And then possibly these bits here. A lot of it's down to the texturing of the 3D model. But you kind of want your overhangs. You probably want to keep them. And then you want to keep most of these here where there's a lot more red. So I'll probably block this bit out here and then up here. So you get the point. You know what I mean. There we go. And look at the bottom. You got this dark blue patch here. Sometimes it just kind of goes through the build plate. But if you just lift it up slightly and drop it back down, it fixes it. Now I've got 2 flat edges here. So when these two are printed out, I suppose that's technically 4 because you got this one here, that one, that, and then that. Once they're printed out, you just put them together like this. Split's going straight across, and I'll show you how I did that. So I open it again in 3D Builder. I like to use 3D Builder because it fixes the model mesh if there's any problems, and it's just quick. You know, it's quite responsive. So I'm going to edit a split in here, but I don't want it, if I keep top and bottom, look at that, it's not going to be good, is it? So I'm going to rotate it around to something like that, and then you got your top. Still don't want that, because this part here is not going to print great. But you want something like that. So the green represents my build plate, so that's how it's going to sit on the build plate. And then the bottom as well. Then you can choose to keep both, So if I bring this up, I can actually keep that part there, so I'm not going to have too many problems printing that bit. So I could keep both, then I'll show you what I do. So split, you got that piece and then that piece. I'll delete that piece and then I'll go up here and I'll do save as, save it to your file path where you want it, but make sure actually when you do that, you choose STL format. Ignore this here, this is something else I'm working on. But yeah, so then you come back in here, Control Z, it brings that piece back that you deleted, delete the piece you saved, and then do the same again with that. File, save as, STL format, save it. But remember to change the name a little bit. Yeah, so I printed this Ghostface model in all these pieces, like the chest, split that in half, so I can print it vertically with all the detail on the upper part, so I need less supports. I probably needed some on this area here, but I split the whole thing. I even split the leg, look, that flat side, just so I could keep as much of that detail as possible. I need less supports. This makes it a lot easier for these awkward, you know, these high detail but awkward to print models, especially on a filament printer. Yeah, this is a Ghostface. I printed this out as the files come, split them up to make it more convenient to 3D print on a filament printer. There's about 25 parts on there. I've given him a bit of a tidy up. It's still not perfect, but I'm hoping that the black and stuff will hide a lot of that. And I'm going to do a white gloss on his face and airbrush the rest of him. So stay tuned for the rest of the video and we'll see how he comes out by the end.